Hello and welcome to the morning show teeing off with Revsportz. Very good morning to everyone present. Good morning, Bharat. Nice to have you back. Uh, Many things happening in Indian sports. WTC not went in our way, but India will go to West Indies in July. The Ashes is coming up in 2 days, and in badminton, the Indonesia Open is going on. And yesterday, PV Sindhu got a massive result, defeated GM Tunjung, and she was defeated by GM Tunjung in the previous two competitions. And PV Sindhu getting back uh, into form versus the top seeded players is a good sign. Though she is not winning the top competitions, but challenging the top seeded players is a good sign ahead of the Asian Games and Paris Olympics. What do you think, Bharat, on PV Sindhu's form in the Indonesian Open?
Yeah, she's
If you
slowly
like,
returning to form, but as you know, the current badminton scenario is dominated by four players. I don't need to name them, I guess. Yamaguchi, Tai Suying, Chen Yufi, and that guy, An. So it's good that she's beating those slightly lower ranked, but yeah, obviously, if she wants to win big tournaments, she has to break into that, as it's now called as well. Obviously, next match is against someone who was beaten there a lot, I guess. Tai Swing, she and Singh.
is
Matchup of Sindhu
BWF3,
is sorry.
she's BWF3, I think, rank.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
will be difficult.
yeah. I'm just saying the matchup. The matchup of Sindhu is such that I think she would rather play Yamaguchi, the number one ranked player, because she's a lot of smashes. Sindhu is 5 feet 11 and Yamaguchi is about 5 feet 1. So she would rather play her, I think, than Nancy and Tai Swing and the other girl is intense. But if she beats TTY, though obviously TTY is not in her absolute best form, but if she beats TTY, then I think you would say Sindhu has definitely made a comeback. Until then, perhaps we have to hold the cards a little bit, but she's slowly getting there. She's at her best when she hits a lot of those smashes and dominates those who are shorter players compared to her. I think that is when Sindhu is at her absolute best. Obviously, I'm seeing in the TTY are very technical, play a lot of drop shots. That is where the trouble, I think. Even Intel and that girl, Intel, she also troubles her with those drop shots. But otherwise, Sindhu is at her absolute best when she uses her height advantage and uh, kills the opponent with those smashes. Hopefully, she would keep her errors down in the next match. And yeah, if she wins against TTY, then we can definitely say she's made a comeback because she has been her nemesis for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And if she wins this one, she can actually looking for a podium finish, I would say, because these top two seeded players defeating them in the quarterfinals is will be big. And today, in the men's singles we have Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Shrikant playing uh, in the morning, and in the evening Priyanshu Rajawat. So Lakshya Sen, Shrikant, do you look forward to them? Yesterday, HS Pune defeated Kenta Nishimoto, but thoughts on Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Shrikant?
Yeah, Sane, I think I already said that if he returns to form, I know he has had injuries, some health issue here and there, but if he returns to form, he can become the number one ranked player. That's what I believe. Men's tennis. I don't think I'm hyping him, but if he is at his best, he can become the number one player because I think he has the skills and the grit. On occasions, I don't want to make comparison. I might seem like a bit of a joker, but when he first came on the scene, I'm saying, I felt there were glimpses, grit. There were glimpses of how Lindan's Lindan is to play. I'm talking about grit, not talking about skill and all. When I first saw Lindan and his grit, the way he used to cover the court, I saw glimpses of it in Lakshya Sen as well. But somewhere lost a bit of bottom, we lost a bit of his team, but I think he's slowly getting back. If he's at his best, I think he can become world number one day. Yeah, but again, if he gets back into his group,
Exactly.
Srikanth, I think slow down a little bit. I don't know. Some might not agree, but after injuries and all, I think he's slowed down a touch. So whether he will get back to his absolute best, let's wait and watch.
Yeah, and HS Pune also. had a good one yesterday. He defeated Kenta Nishimoto and will be playing against NGK of Hong Kong tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. So thoughts on Pranay going forward, because he will be the top better seeded player in the quarterfinals.
As of now, he's obviously, I think he's a bit more in form
Mm.
compared to the other two overall basis, I'm saying. So Indians would expect something more from him. Hopefully, yeah, all three can, all of them can do well in this tournament.
Exactly. And yes, you and I were talking yesterday about the Ashes coming up, but before that, the from our WTC, what India performed yesterday, Shubhan had a uh, article coming up. Who might stay in the team? Who might move out of the team? What are the required changes for the Indian Test team? So, just let's discuss a bit about it. So I'll mention some of Shubhan's list from his article. He mentioned for stay Gil, Kohli, Jadeja, Shardul, Shami, Siraj, Ashwin, Aksar, Rohit, and for leave, he has mentioned about Pujara, Rahane, KS Bharat, Umesh Yadav. And I would take your thoughts also on this. And another point I would like to add to this is, do we need a left arm pacer? Because we have seen Arshdeep Singh currently playing in the county championship. So do you see him as a regular member of the Indian Test squad? Your thoughts, Bharat?
See, in Test cricket, more than Test cricket, in limited overs cricket, I would say left arm bowler is a must. Left arm bowler is a must. But in Test cricket, not too sure. It is such a huge factor as limited overs cricket. But if Harshdeep Singh is someone who improves with time, uh, becomes a good first class bowler, then obviously India can consider him. But I still think he's a work in progress, so he has to get there. The best thing about Arshdeep is he can swing the ball. If you're a left arm or over the wicket, you can swing the ball a little bit. It gives you a bit of advantage, more so in limit overs cricket, but even in Test cricket, it gives you a slight advantage because even if you don't get a batsman out with swing, you can get a batsman out with angle. I remember this New Zealand England Test series in 2018. I was doing some reports. England got shot out for 58. I don't think Trent Boult found a lot of swing in that innings. Even he said I didn't find much swing in that particular innings, but it took some 5 wickets for 10 runs or 12 runs. If you notice, a lot of the English batsmen are getting out that angle. That angle creates a little bit of illusion over the wicket angle. So even around the wicket, we saw Rane chasing one against Stark. I think that is where he can really come into the question. As far as the Indian team who are out and who are not going to be out, see Rane and Pujara after the 2021 England series itself, I had written on Twitter,
Hmm.
social media here and there that both Rane and Pujara should be out because
Okay. Okay. And uh,
India have reached a peak level. This is the time to rebuild.
okay, Bharat, I think your
Left
internet
in
is
better
getting a bit
touch,
choppy.
but I guess it was a bit too late because they were bowled out for by the time he came into the crease, they already lost six, seven wickets.
Yeah. Bharat, before we move on to our next question, we have a question from our viewer, Talk Point. He says, Bracewell out of CWC to 2023, a major blow. Your thoughts?
Yeah, from New Zealand have already suffered one. Kane Williamson likely would be out. Yeah, Michael Bracewell, from their perspective, he would have been a decent player because he's kind of an all-rounder. If he could have been used as a floater. So I think New Zealand are in a bit of trouble because they've already mostly lost Kane Williamson, most likely, and Bracewell as well. From their perspective, I think he would have really added a lot into that side because they need New Zealand is at its best when they have all these floaters, not exactly all rounders. I bit of bits and pieces floaters. That is when they're at their best. So yeah, from their point of view, it would be a loss.
Yeah, and Bharat, before we move on to a bit of Ashes, India will be playing in July the West Indies series, and they will play the Test. So, what are the changes you want to see in that Test team going for a for something of a mind of a
Indian
long
Test
term
team.
basis? Because yeah,
Yeah, the Indian Test team. I know with the Indian Test team, ideally you want Jasprit Bumrah and Rishabh Pant back, but for now it's not going to happen.
huh,
That's the problem with the Indian Test team is I think look at some of the younger players. They're either injured, some of them are not exactly fit to about 20 overs. It
mm,
feels like that. So uh, in that sense, I think Mukesh Kumar is perhaps the best of the lot to those who are coming through the ranks. He's at least a solid seam bowler. Openers, Shubman Gill is there, but I still has to prove his mettle against the mowing ball. It would be interesting to see how he plays on West Indian pitches. They use Duke's ball, and a couple of pitches could be like at like at Bridgetown and all. Could help the seamers a little bit up and down surfaces. So interesting to see how Gill goes because in first class cricket, if you look at first class cricket, Ishwaran and Priyank Panchal have been the two who have scored a lot of runs, but somehow it feels as if selectors have decided we won't consider performances in Ranji Trophy. Uh, Interesting to see how Gill goes on those pitches because he's still a suspect, as you know, against the incoming ball. And Boland basically tricked him. He bowled in the first innings incoming ball, and then the second innings got one to go away and got him out. Yep. There's also Jaiswal, obviously. He's been scoring a lot
mm,
of runs. I think the India should look at if they feel Iswaran, Panchal, and all these guys are too old now. It's time to let some youngsters like Yashasvi Jaiswal. Uh, and Hanuma
Mukesh
Vihari
Kumar.
obviously is another one who's around for long, but don't know where to put him nowadays because he's not exactly taken his chances. He gets those 30, 25, 30, and then fails in a couple of innings, loses his place, and gets back. Couple of other choices, obviously, that Sarfraz has got a lot of runs, but in the
Uh,
IPL, you like it or not, against genuine pace, he looked a bit out of place. He looked a bit of out of place in Indian A matches as well. So there is a little bit of uh, doubt over him, I guess. And then you have Rajat Patidar again injured. I think he's one of the best players. I feel he's the best player of fast bowling in Indian domestic cricket, not just one of the better players. There's a lot of time on his hands, but again, Achilles injury is a very bad injury. Uh, to come back from that, I hope he comes back, but it's a very bad injury. And then I guess Indian selectors again would go back to Surya Kumar in that sense. If they don't pick Pujar or Rane, they will again go back to Surya Kumar.
yeah, and these injury concerns have been troubling Indian management a lot. So overall, you and Shubhan almost gave us the same point of views. Shubhan also mentioned about Mukesh Kumar, Yashasvi Jaiswal moving into the team, and he also mentions Kuldeep Yadav. So that will also be an interesting one. But moving on to the Ashes before we end the show, what are the points that the England team would like to take from the WTC final that they saw from Australian team, and they would keep in mind before they get into the game?
So it's not right to compare India and England because has different strengths. I guess
Mm,
England has its different strengths. They're playing at home. They're different kinds of bowlers. I feel definitely uh, all of the three, Stuart Broad or Anderson or Ollie Robinson, they will all go around the wicket straight away to left-hander. None of the Indians did that. 99% sure these three bowlers are because they are always known to go around the wicket. They will go around the wicket to Warner and Kavaja straight away. This is one thing you will see. England obviously still have some issues. Their openers, Zach Ravely, Ben Duckett has been scoring runs. He looks like a bit of in Hindi. If I want to say something, it's a chota version of David Warner because always looks for room outside off. Interesting to see how he goes against these Australian pace bowlers. I'm pretty sure they will try to cut off the room from round the wickets.
mm.
So that would be interesting to see. Zach Ravley has been getting out on the inside edge, on the outside edge. It it's a curious part because he is someone who sometimes tries to cover the outside edge by taking an off stump guard, then he gets out LBW. Then he takes a middle stump guard, then he chases it LBW outside off. So both edges he's been getting out, but he's a talented player, but keeps getting out for some reason. Is I think I think his teammate is there from Kent Compton, I guess. He's been scoring a lot of runs, but selectors somehow feel Zach Ravley is better, though he's scoring runs. I think they feel he's more talented. There's also Keaton Jennings. They could have gone for him, but obviously the experienced players has had a hamstring injury. Yeah, going to be interesting. The one battle I would want to see is Harry Brook versus Scott Pollard. So
Yeah.
Harry Brook is a
You
backup
made
player.
my
Harry
points
Brook is a
yesterday.
backup player. He's not a front foot player, he's a back foot player. I think he's going to get troubled by the nip packers and the one little bit of away movement. So I think he could be in some trouble. Let's wait and watch. Obviously, Anderson is there at the age of 40, still going strong, having an eagle or two. I guess he had a mild groin strain, but is said to be fit. They have Ollie Robinson, good bowlers. Anderson and Australia also have good bowlers. Maybe Australia have a slight advantage here, but England are playing in England, so to say. I guess I would start this series by saying Australia are 55-45 ahead, but anything can happen with baseball and Ben Stokes and Brendan McKenna.
Exactly. The baseball versus Australia will be interesting one. And yesterday, Moeen Ali, in his press conference, said how he actually got back to the team after Jack Leish's injury. Ben Stokes texted him with just a small message, Ashes question mark. He replied with LOL. So, what do you think of that, Moeen Ali coming back to the team? And give me a bit about Jack Leish because I don't know much about Jack Leish. So.
More
How
in I'm not too sure. But perhaps England didn't have much of a choice. Everything, I guess 64 against Australia in Test cricket, not one of the teams that succeed seconds. I know Australia have some five
Mm,
left-handers, four left-handers they might play. So I guess that's the reason they have picked an off spinner here. He can also bat a bit, though nowadays Moeen Ali when he bats, don't know what to say. It's a couple of boundaries, then gets beaten, then gets out. So interesting choice, but I think it's because Australia have so many left-handers. They're picking him. Gets a little bit of overspin. Obviously, nowhere in the class of line, but he gets a bit of overspin at his best. He hits the rough patch or two, which we saw in the Southampton Test in
mm,
2018. I know Ashwin had an injury, but it seemed like Moeen Ali hit that hard rough patch better than Ashwin. Though Ashwin was a more skillful bowler of the two. That's what I would say about Moeen Ali. Jack Lynch is a very consistent spinner. Doesn't turn much, but very consistent. Doesn't impart much overspin. More of a side spinner. But a very consistent bowler. He's been around for Somerset for long. One or two problems in his action some years ago, but he's someone who's a very gritty cricketer. He has had health problems, in South Africa. Before that, also had health problems. He keeps coming back, and then that's now a back injury. I'm pretty sure he'll keep coming back from that. I think more
mm,
than skill, I think the greatest strength of Leach is a very gritty cricketer, gritty bowler, hitting for two sixes. We have seen with Rishabh Pant, kept hitting him, but kept coming back, and finally, I think got him out once somewhere, maybe in the Edgbaston Test somewhere. So he's someone who's a very gritty cricketer. So in that sense, England will miss him. But I feel more likely they've taken him because they have a lot of left-handers. Otherwise, they could have looked at Rian Ahmed or someone. I know he has had a
mm.
bad time in England first class cricket, but I think he's a talented leg spinner. England should invest in him. But although England don't produce good captains when it comes to handling his spinners, even though Ben Stokes looked good when he captained Rian Ahmed in Pakistan, but generally England and leg spin it doesn't go well because they don't know how to handle a leg spinner. Maybe other than Ian Morgan and they say Sir Len Hutton handled Johnny Waddell well in 1954, but in 1954 I was not born, so please don't ask how Len Hutton handled the left arm Chinaman Johnny Waddell.
Okay. It's good that you actually keep Australia, the away team, ahead a bit. So it will be interesting
Very
one
slight,
as
I
well.
said. That is
Slightly
because
ahead.
I feel, yeah, slight 5%. I'm saying this because In 2015 Ashes, many said Australia would win. I was one of the few who said England will win. One of the
Mm.
reasons was those days England used to bowl this wobble stuff a lot more. Australia didn't know that. Somewhere in 2019, I think it was Peter Seidel who forced all those four, even Hazelwood, Stark also now has a 3-4 seam ball, that those guys are bowling a lot of wobble stuff and beating us in England. Anderson and Broad, you guys also start using it. Since then, I think Australia have gone it notch above, and some mates are hyping it, but I feel if you don't have the wobble ball, then it's not going to be easy in England, because that Duke's ball wobbles a little more, and
Mm.
there will be a little bit of moisture underneath. So I think in this day and age, if you're going to play in England, uh, developing your own version of wobble ball is a must. And Australia have done that. Even Scott Boland now has. So all five have. And I think Australia have a little more in the tank with batting as well. Smith, Labuschagne, and all. So, and Smith has troubled England a lot, home and away. So look at all these things. I think they have a little more, 5% more in the tank than England.
Yeah, and Australia will be a bit accustomed with the Duke's ball, just completing the WTC, so it will be interesting to see. But before we end, for our viewers, the AIFF yesterday gave a massive structure roadmap for the Indian football coming up in the upcoming season. There will be 3 tiers and 5 new corporate entries have will come in the I League. So that's a massive step forward for the Indian football. So there's a piece up on our website. So keep following. And Bharat, thank you for joining. It was lovely talking to you. We'll be back again tomorrow. So thank you for joining, and
Thank you.
we'll be back again tomorrow.